There can be no doubt about the importance of sleep. It's one of the biggest contributors to our health and, when lacking, a key cause of a whole host of diseases. But sometimes we just can't seem to get enough sleep, and there are many things that might be keeping us awake. One of the most common causes of insomnia is anxiety. Worry about the future, regret of the past, and all kinds of fears usually pop into our heads right before we go to bed. If we're not careful, those negative thoughts can keep us tossing and turning for hours and also leave us feeling physically ill. But what can we do about it? If we're anxiety-prone, we can always change our lifestyle, like drinking less caffeine can help us improve our emotional state. Before going to bed, we can take some measures to reduce anxiety. We can journal and write our anxious thoughts. Putting on white noise, a calming podcast, or whatever works can help us not focus on what makes us nervous. Simple strategies like counting or mentally reciting can also keep these ideas at bay. Social media is an easy distraction and a source of fun, but it can also be the source of many late nights. The same is true of being on our phones, whether it's texting or watching Netflix. Our phones have the entire power of the internet, which promises a much better time than just falling asleep. If we fall prey to it, the next day is certain to be much worse than it could have been. What can we do about it? The first option is to leave the phone away from the bed. Don't take it with you when you go to lie down. Set timers or alerts that will let you know when it's time to put it down, or use apps like parental control that shut down your time-wasting apps automatically. Even further, you might just uninstall TikTok or Instagram. You can also make it less appealing by putting a grayscale filter on your phone. But the main thing is to decide to cut down on social media before bed and find other pastimes to wind down, like reading or meditating. Sometimes we do everything right, but those around us might have different habits, which are especially impactful if we share a room or a bed with said person. When they stay up late, close, or open the window while we prefer it the other way around, have a light, or stay on their phones, we might lose sleep over it, literally. So what can be done? The first solution is often to try and separate the sleeping space, like going into another room. But sometimes that's not viable. Instead, we should have an honest conversation with the other person and ask them to see if there's a solution. If all else fails, there are always eye masks and earplugs. However, it is very important to pursue a good night's sleep. Some foods and eating habits have a proven connection to a worse night's sleep, especially if you're sensitive to them. Caffeine, for example, which can be found in coffee, black and green teas, and chocolate, can stay in the body for up to 12 hours and disrupt sleep long after we had our morning drink. Heavy fatty foods eaten before bed can also impact digestion. Some people may struggle with sleep if they had a full meal right before bed. Eating a light supper and eating earlier in the evening can be good solutions. Another important aspect is staying away from stimulants found in food during late afternoon or even starting at noon.